Well, first of all, I appreciate each and every one of you turning up today. It just shows me how concerned you as individuals are about not only the state of Florida, but also this nation. What is disheartening is that we don't have a lot more people here.
That's right.
We need to get the word out and get a lot more people at these events. We need to wake them up. But you know something? About a year and a half when I was making the decision to run for the State House of Representatives, I was talking a great deal about myself, what my qualifications were, and so forth. And I had a former candidate here in this whole county that said, Ed, he says, people don't care about what you've done. They only want to know how they can benefit from it. Well, you know something? There's a little bit of truth to that. But you know something, guys? I want to know about my candidate. I want to know about a person before I vote for them. I want to know whether they talk the talk or they walk the walk. So, please bear with me. I know your stomachs are calling, and you know you want to eat lunch and so forth, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. In fact, I'm going to add a little bit to my speech today because I had an individual at one of my presentations I made that set me down, and he asked me the question. His name, Ray Ivy. And he says, do you know who you are? I responded, I said, yeah, I know who I am. I'm a person of God. I'm a husband, a father, a son. He says, but do you know who you were before you were all that? And I looked at him and I said, well, repeated what I said again. And he said, you just don't get it, do you? But then I realized, Ray explained it to me. When you're born, you become one of the people. One of the people of the Declaration of Independence of the U.S. Constitution. Now, I'm going to bore you. I may bore you, I may not bore you. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. Yes, for the last 22 years, I've worked for positive change, improving the lives of others. As a foster parent, as an adoptive parent of 3 children, 8 grandchildren, as an educator. Most recently, up until about the year 2010, I was an exceptional student educator at Mulberry High School. My wife continues to teach at Adele Elementary School. I'm also a counselor. In fact, I work on a daily basis with adoptive families, assuring the success of those adoptive families, responding to crisis, sometimes working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day sometimes, because sometimes I just don't get the sleep I need, probably. But the fact of it is, for the last 22 years, I've worked in the child welfare system from the direct care level, starting out in 1992 as a family teacher at Boys Town out in Omaha, Nebraska. My wife and I have not only worked here in Polk County, but we have experiences across the United States. And the big thing in common is everybody wants the same thing. What's that? They just want to be happy. They just want to be able to go to work, provide for their family, successes for their children, dreams. And yes, despite what is being taught to us by the mainstream media, the American dream is still out there. However, if we don't step forward real quick, we may see that become harder and harder to achieve. But I've been asked several times, why in the world would you want to get involved in politics? Why did you decide to run for the State House of Representatives? And it could be because of my adamant opposition to Common Core or the new Florida standards. Don't be fooled by the new terminology, folks. It's the same thing. In fact, I had a teacher in Hernando County that reached out to me about a month ago regarding Common Core. And she said, and I quote, "Can you believe what they're doing? They are sending the books back and having others reprinted, the textbooks, to take Common Core out of them, to where it's the same content in the books, but without Common Core on the front page, on the front cover." Number one, and I've got proof of this, and folks, when I'm adamant about something, I bring it to people's attention. I've brought this to the Lakeland Ledger's attention, sent pictures and so forth, with also quotations. I've also addressed this with the governor's office. Do you think they have responded? Absolutely not. But not only is it a concern about Common Core infringing on the rights from Washington, D.C., on the rights of the people of the state of Florida, it's also government waste. Can you just imagine how many taxpayer dollars was used in Hernando County to reprint those textbooks? Now, I've got the documentation. And then, here in Polk County, and I gotta watch it here because my wife's a teacher, and every time I speak out against Common Core, buddy, you know, she's a teacher. But I have families coming to me in Polk County that said, wait a minute here, I thought the legislative, or Governor Scott, put that on hold, Common Core. We just got a letter from the teacher saying that Polk County has implemented Common Core as the guidelines for the county.